No, I mean, that's also how I read this decision. And, when you say, of course, it's impossible not to consider the politics of this, I think we should acknowledge like the vast amount of discretion that the Supreme Court had over several aspects of this birthright citizenship case. One is just the decision about when to weigh in on this issue of nationwide injunctions, because as you were saying, the Biden administration was subject to nationwide injunctions. The Biden administration asked the Supreme Court to limit nationwide injunctions. The Supreme Court elected not to do so. They decided, nope, into the Trump administration, that's when we're going to do it. Second, they had discretion about which case to review the propriety of nationwide injunctions, and they selected birthright citizenship, one of, I think, the more egregious and extreme legal violations that the Trump administration is engaged in, just in plain violation of Section 1, the first sentence of the 14th Amendment, which says all persons born and naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof shall be citizens. Third, the Supreme Court had discretion about whether to actually decide the merits, that is, whether to review whether the executive order is unlawful. And their decision not to is what allowed them to give the Trump administration a win rather than simultaneously deciding the merits and saying this policy is wildly illegal, even if like the lower court shouldn't have, issued this injunction with its scope. I could go on, but the point is like they chose to exercise their discretion about when to signal that the lower courts were going too far and to do so in the context of an administration that, in my view, is openly defying some lower court orders and definitely engaged in at least a rhetorical campaign against the legitimacy of lower courts enforcing the law against the executive branch is, I think, one of the more untoward aspects of this decision.